Good day and welcome to another edition of Sharing Trade Information on Global Trade Tutor. In this series of video, I'll be talking about China. Now, China is a very important country, a country that is the largest exporter in the world and second largest importer in the world. US is the largest importer in the world and second largest exporter in the world. China has become a major force in recent time, and any individual looking to do business in any country, you definitely want to do business with China, particularly sending raw materials and intermediate product to China. It's important to know that intermediate product is a big deal now in the world. Intermediate product basically means the product is not raw and the product is not finished. And China, being an industrial nation, highly industrialized nation, purchase a lot of these kind of products, particularly primary raw materials and intermediate product, because all these help them to be able to create jobs for their people. As a matter of fact, I'm aware there are some products you can't export finished to China. Why? Because it must be processed in China. Now, these are the kind of policy that China have in mind, or China have put in place to be able to ensure that its country is not a dumping ground, but rather its country, so is the import of China is deliberately targeted to be able to attract raw materials required for manufacturing and intermediate product required for production within the country. In fact, sometimes governments set up a trading company and government fund those trading companies, and those trading companies purchase these raw materials and stockpile them so that when organizations, manufacturing companies, factories need them and they don't have enough cash, they can buy from this trading company. This trading company can even help them issue a letter of credit while the good is on the way. Then they can pay this trading company later. These are the kind of policy and initiative that China has put in place, beyond also the incentive that China gives to its businesses. Now, in this series, I'll be looking at, it's going to be about 20 videos, and I'll be looking at different products, from raw materials to machine and equipment, to precious metals, to transportation, to metal product, to oil product, to foodstuff, to clothing, to different products, animal product, packaged medicament, chemical product that China is importing into its country. By the way, the import volume of China is over $2 trillion. Global trade is just about 24, $25 trillion. And China alone is taking up over $2 trillion. That tells you the level of dependence of the global economy on China. So let's go. Now, let's move on to precious metals. Precious metals. China is spending 89.8 billion. You know, I'm not surprised at this figure, this particular figure for this product for China. Let me say why. In the last 10 years to 15 years, China has lifted over 500 million of the citizens out of poverty. Over 500 million of its citizens out of poverty. So I'm not surprised that China is spending a lot of money on gold. The Chinese citizen can afford luxury products, products made of gold, plated with gold, coated with gold, or made with raw gold. Why? They've lifted millions, hundreds of millions of its citizens out of poverty. So people are getting a lot richer in China so they can afford luxury products. You will notice something about all the precious metals. Out of the $87 billion precious metal import, China spent 77% of that money to import gold alone. Then we have platinum, 7.38%. Precious stones, 4.95%. Diamonds, 5.05%. Silver, 1.25%. Jewelry, 3.35%. These are the items of import precious metal import of China. And like I said, because China have been able to lift a lot of people out of poverty, China spent 87.8 billion importing different kinds of precious metals.